Hello and welcome back to TFR eSports Season 24, and it is very much welcome back. After a long summer break, we are finally back for round 9 of the F2 Season 24 Championship, and I am your commentator CJH, joined by Epic the Animal, the two-time F1 champion. Once again, an epic. I tell you, Imola usually on the calendar, you'd be like, well, you know, it's a good track, but it's not maybe the most exciting race to look forward to. But with how long of a gap we've had since the Belgium Grand Prix, I absolutely can't wait for this, because we've had such a wait for it, then I'm almost convinced it's going to provide the action.
I mean, it's F2. We're always going to provide the action. We could race on Monaco and it's still going to provide infinitely more action than the real life race, which doesn't say much, but you get the analogy I'm making. Great track, really fun quali track, dynamic track on a race trim, especially with wet weather coming at the end, and opportunities to save a lot of time taking curb, but a lot of opportunities to pick up time penalties as well. We're in for a wild one. We have a 5-place grid penalty for Schaefer for a collision with Dark Shadow.
Now that is big. Dark Shadow there on an outlap, so that's happened just a few moments ago. Schaefer as well going very slow there, so something's gone on there and has caused all sorts of chaos. But that is one of the drivers returning tonight. Obviously Dark Shadow, otherwise known as Kaya, is back tonight, a very well-known face here at TFR eSports. We also got a couple of other new drivers. We've got Jay Oakes in the Ferrari. We also have another driver who I think is struggling to get back in the session, which may be the Mercedes, a new Mercedes driver who I think he is trying to get in. But once he's in, we shall give him a bit of a shout out. But yes, a couple of new faces, but there's going to be all eyes, Logan, on this championship fight. Right at the very front, Haraman, second in the championship, is currently on pole position here for the San Marino Grand Prix. And we've also got Hyperghost third in the standings, about the same amount of points behind our championship leader, Michael Luis, who has been the king of qualifying this season, but has had a few moments, such as Austria, where a spin ended up throwing away a almost guaranteed race victory. And it's just kept things ever so close at the front all the way to the closing stages. And with only 4 rounds to go, Logan, it's anyone's pick between those top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. One race can flip the whole thing on its head, which we see happen a lot here in F2. And what's going to be interesting to me is how the constructors plays into it, because even though none of those top 3 drivers are 2 RBs, or V carbs, whatever you want to call them, the Racing Bulls seem to play spoiler. We got our 3 championship contenders in the top 5 split evenly by those RBs that we know have the potential to challenge those guys at the front as well on any given day. But they're not the only ones. We've seen good things from the likes of Codematic and Ronnie as well. So a lot of points up for grabs. And just because you're top 3 in the championship doesn't mean you're in for a free top 3 each race weekend. So you got to show up and perform every race weekend with 4 to go. Those big mistakes are what's going to be crucial, and just those solid finishes are what you got to do throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real fascinating battle in the drivers and, like you say, in the constructors, because the constructors just got a total different element to it, with JVKP and Schaefer working really well together, but themselves, they've not necessarily got enough points to get back in the mix for the drivers. You can't say they're totally out of it, because this is F2 and some dramatic things can happen. And at the minute, we've got Michael Luis actually going for another flying lap, Logan. So if you want, you could take us through the final 2/3 of the lap here as he's coming up the hill.
Yeah, coming up this hill, you want to mount the curb on the inside. Be careful of the curb on the outside, because it can kind of shrink you out and make you exceed track limits. Coming down this hill here, don't take too much curb to unsettle the car. When you start braking here, take all the curb, but don't put too much steering angle on so you don't get loose on the exit. Now we got a car in the way, moves out of the way at the last second. You want to take all the curb here, because that helps you get in a straight line over that curb on the exit, so you can get the full throttle as quickly as possible as you're in 3rd gear. Coming down the hill, brake way later than you think you can. Mount some curb on the inside, but just don't over-rotate the rear. Take all the curb on the inside, but don't get to full throttle too quickly, or else the rear will come around on the exit, losing time down this straight. And Michael Luis puts it on pole with the first man to crack into the 114s with the 114.9. Herberman and Gavukapa still very close by, less than a quarter of a second behind the championship leader's current pole lap.
Well, here he is, Harriman, as we have Ultimate Stand go on to the front row. What a lap that is.
Stan.
Almost a second improvement there from absolutely nowhere. Reserving for Williams tonight. They really need some good points because Ronnie's been doing a good job this season, but they are starting to fall behind. Here comes Harriman. He set a purple sector 2. Can he set a purple lap here? Yes, he does. A 14.8 goes half a tenth clear of Michael Luis, but it's incredibly close. Almost a tenth separating the top 3.
Yeah, very close here in qualifying with time to make another run, I imagine, for all of them. So, yeah, there's still time to be found by all drivers up and down the grid. A lot of invalidated laps I'm seeing, but still plenty of time to get that final run in. And I see that everyone's using a lot of soft tires here in qualifying because with the way tire wear works on this track and the pending weather forecast, the chances of you actually getting to use soft tires in the race are next to 0, so you might as well use them up in qualifying for the oh so important or crucial. Gotta combine them both there. Track position.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a couple of cars going back at the pits. We've got a couple of cars going in the pits. We've got Jay Oakes here on his debut, currently out on track. Some other drivers that are filling in tonight. We've got Raheem in the McLaren. He's returned tonight, reserving there. We've also got Sci-Fi Mega Hype making one of his first few races. He has made his debut before, but this is one of his early races as well. So Alpine will be ones to keep an eye on, as they really do need to start racking up the points. Here comes Jay Oakes then, coming through the final couple of corners. And like Logan was saying, you just need to make sure you use the curbs in the right places there. And he's diving in the pits. So that is that lap in the bin. Danique is improving at the minute. He's actually improving by 1.7 seconds, which, considering he's 4.5 seconds off the pace, Logan, that's a good job he's improving.
Yeah, it's a good job he's improving. He's using too much battery here at the end of the lap, so he's going to lose power here in the last couple corners. But if he takes a good line, he can maybe make up some time he's lost on previous laps, and he has invalidated the lap.
Perfect timing.
No
Perfect
timing.
timing.
And he will have time for another lap, I imagine. Yeah, he will. And is Ronnie on a fast lap right now? Yes, he is. Ronnie is quick going in through Sector 1. Very difficult section right there. Gets in the kitty litter a little bit, but keeps her going straight. And he's actually still up by 0.4 of a second over his personal best. It just shows how much time Ronnie has on the table, as he hasn't been able to put together a good lap yet, which means he's still a contender for these running spots as we come here to the end of qualifying. Who else is on a Dark Shadows on an out lap? Schaefer has time to find as well, and he's spun it off into the kitty litter. He does keep it out of the wall, though, there at the end of Sector 1.
I tell you, Logan, sorry to jump in there. Ronnie's still quick. He may have dipped a tyre in the gravel, and he's done it again, and this time much more. He set a purple mil sector there and was 6 tenths up in that mil sector. So he had a stunning Sector 2, but he may have just again thrown it all away, because that time around he was way more in the gravel. We'll just see. Will he dive into the pit lane? No, he is carrying on. So let's just see what the lap time is. It is an improvement by 3 tenths, but it makes you wonder. There's more pace in the tank there.
Yeah, I feel like there's more pace in the tank for everyone up and down the grid right now. Seeing a lot of loose rear ends, dipping tires in gravel, and yeah, just plenty of time to be found out there by these drivers, and we'll see who's able to put it together when it really counts here in their final runs. So I guess it really counts at all parts of the session, but...
Well, this is the thing.
Oh, and Raheem invalidates around the final corner trying to start another lap.
Oh, dear. Double whammy there. If he's charged up the battery, he should be able to go again if he has the fuel in the car. But here we go then. We are going on to the final runs. Hyperghost is starting one of his final laps. You'd imagine it will be his final lap, whilst Harriman and Ultimate Stand, they're still in the pit lane. Michael Lewis and Jacob and Tax Collector are all out on track. You'd have to say Schaefer, Ronnie and Co-Manic are the ones that really need to find a lap here and get themselves up the order. Hyperghost, of those championship challengers, is the one that's falling behind at the minute. His top 2 rivals are leading out front, Logan, but this lap could be the one at the minute. He's 2 tenths up so far.
2 tenths up so far with plenty of time to find throughout the rest of the lap. You just don't want to try to be a hero going for each hundredth and risk invalidating the whole lap. Nice and clean there through the fast left-hander. I imagine he's going to be up even more on his previous best. Great line through there. Gets the full throttle quickly and right onto the battery, too, to shoot up this hill. He hasn't overused the battery either, so he's going to have plenty of power here if he nails this chicane. That's a good line through there. A little shaky on the exit, but he's going to have more battery than other people have at the end of their lap. Maybe that will make up for it. I did not see if he is improving through Sector 2, but 2 corners to go on this lap. Could have took a little bit more curb there, but it's not bad.
Not
Nice
bad
and
at all.
solid on the exit. Gets to full throttle quickly. Let's see what it is. Crossing the line.
Ooh.
It's a small improvement, but improvements are improvements. He's up at the P5.
David Cappi's on a flyer, so too is Michael Luis, and he's only just started his lap though, so we'll keep an eye on David Cappi. He only has as well a couple of corners to go. He was a 10th up in the middle sector at the minute. That could put him near the front row. It might not quite put him on the front row. That's how close the margins are here. Here comes David Cappi then, up to the line, and oh, he's just missed out. Incredible, 79 thousandths off, but he's only third.
Yeah, we are currently watching the pole position lap by Michael Luis. He was up 7 tenths in Sector 1. Christ almighty.
Oh, he's invalidated.
Invalidates in Sector 2. I should have shut my muffin mouth. Commentators curse once again.
So Harabaman is on a lap as well. Michael Luis is done, yeah. He will not get to the line time. The checker flag is now out, so he's done. David Cappi is going again. I'll see what his sector time is in the first sector. He's down. He is done for this lap. Ultimate Stan made the line, so he'll be the last competitive driver here across the line. Hyperghost, I think, is done as well, Logan.
Yeah, everyone outside of the top 10 is done as well. Alfie about to cross the line, currently P10. Does not improve. Danique is done. Only a few cars left still in it. I'm watching Schaefer here. He's solid through that uphill left-hander where I saw him make mistakes 2 different occasions so far in this qualifying session. He is fast as hell for that double right-hander.
And here's Harabaman, though.
God.
Up to line, and he goes quicker. He goes even quicker.
He's got it. He's got it. Oh, and Schaefer invalidates. There's a Red Bull around. And I think that's the end of qualifying.
I think so. I don't think anyone is going to get anywhere near, and I think they've all invalidated anyway. So
yeah, they're all done.
Just when it matters, Harabaman there with a stunning pole position, improving just by a tiny bit at the end there, but he didn't even need to. Nobody else could improve. They were all either making mistakes or invalidating the laps, and it's Harabaman who comes out on top. And you'd have to say, Logan, Hyperghost of those title protagonists has lost out a bit there.
I think Michael Luis has lost out a bit as well because he was up 7 tenths in Sector 1. He was on pace for a low 114's lap. And so he was probably on pace, let's say worst case scenario, even if he goes down a tenth in the last 2 sectors on his personal best, to still be pole by half a second. Harabaman doing what he does best, and that's just staying solid and consistent. He's like, I can't remember his name. Who was the guy that won the F2 season?
Kevin Cow?
Kevin Cow, yes. He's like the Kevin Cow of this season. Quick on the feet of CJ on the mic. And yeah, he's just doing what needs to be done. Just stay solid and let other people make mistakes around you. I don't know if people are just struggling on a difficult track. This track is very difficult to get a good lap in, or maybe just pushing too hard and just not putting a solid base lap in. But nonetheless, it is Harabaman 420 on pole position with his championship rival Michael Luis in second. And whoever goes down in fifth will have time to make up, but long race to do it.
You know what, though, as well there, though? It showed those first runs were key because the last runs, I mean, no one actually got one in the end. So it just showed that by getting in that good first time, it allowed you to get up the order, and then it didn't really matter for the sake of Harabaman. It didn't matter the fact that he didn't get a final run in. We unfortunately didn't get the grid on our screen there at the end, sadly, so I haven't been able to run through it, but we're going to get straight into the action very shortly. But like you were saying, Logan, we're expecting rain later on.
Yeah, expecting rain later on. The question is, how early will the wet conditions come? Can you get there just on one stop alone? So it'll be interesting to see the potential tire strategies. And it looked like everyone used up all their soft tires. So mediums and hards are going to be the tires you're going to see here today at Imola, and Inters possibly at the end as well. It's going to get very interesting. I can't wait for this race start. Long run down to turn 1 and a very tricky chicane of turns 1 and 2. So anything can happen going into this. I can't wait as I stall more time while we're waiting for the players to line up on the grid.
Yeah, it is a very long run into the first corner, and I think that is something that people need to keep an eye on here. Is it's just being on pole at this kind of circuit, again, like others, it's not necessarily where you want to be because you could get picked off into the first corner. It does get very narrow though, so if you survive the first phase of the start, you can position your car well and keep the rest behind. Comatic reckons the rain is not coming. We'll find out because here come the lights. We've got 5 red lights ahead of the drivers here in Imola. And we are underway, and it's an awful start for Marino GP. He's stuck on the grid. He's not even moving at the minute, and he's down into last place. What an awful start for the RB. He's got moving now. But Harriman then leads the way with no threat behind. Michael Luis is in second. Hyperghost is in second now as well. What a start from him. He's gone swooping right around the outside. What a fantastic getaway. We've got a Haas off in the background.
Behind. Alfie's behind, off behind. We got more cars off behind. There's contact in the midfield, but they're all keeping it together now. Wow, Dark Shadow with an amazing move on that second chicane, I must say. Gets around 2 cars. Ronnie's fallen down the order. Tax Collector's missing his front wing. And yeah,
chaos.
Alfie's in last.
Absolute chaos.
Is got running again, but he's going to have to come through the grid. And look at this. Our top 3 in the championship, our top 3 in the race.
Yeah. And Haribo, man, I mean, great start for him, breaking the DRS, but Hyperghost, what a start. And absolutely needed there as well. Down in 5th at the beginning of this one. Comatic as well. What a great start from him. Right around the outside into the little chicane there. Gets over the curb. Ultimate Stan is going to come straight back at him and move into 4th. They're wheel to wheel still going into this penultimate corner. It's going to be who is the later of the breakers. Ultimate Stan absolutely sends it. He's going to have to just about keep it on the circuit. Comatic is still there. He's going to get picked off by the Mercedes now as well. Great racing.
Outside. Wow. Yeah, great racing there. Great. Seizing the opportunity there, Banique, and he's looking to claim another spot. Ah, that's a sketchy. Mercedes and Williams on this stretch didn't go well in real life, and we got more moves coming behind as well as Sci-Fi and Ronnie are very close. Also, with Dark Shadow involved, someone got into the back of someone. Dark Shadow's wide. Holy crap! He comes back on the circuit. No, he doesn't. Great job there, not come on the circuit and cause an incident. Sacrificed himself for the greater good of the race there. Got to respect it by Dark Shadow. Clean racing. There. Oh, nose to tail. Danique clips the back of Code Manic. Did he just get some rear wing damage? And yeah, we have a car off. I did not see who it was. Was it Sci-Fi?
Yeah. He went straight on at that quick left and right hander, a little bit like Sergio Perez a few years back. It was Ultimate Stan then who really lost out. There's the tyres on your screen. A lot of drivers mixing it up here. We got Mike Luis on the hard tyres in the top 3, the top 2 on the mediums. Comatic as well, who had a good start, is on mediums at the front of this pack, but then the rest are on hard tyres. Obviously, they are gambling here on, they think the rain will not arrive because those mediums will not be able to get all the way through this race, you'd imagine, Logan.
Yeah, I think people are just... I think if the rain isn't going to come, you're going to see 2 mediums and a hard being used. So it's just a question of, am I going to use the hards early and be fast
for the lead!
Oh
my word! Oh my word! Hyperghost there, almost smashed into the back of Hariberman. Completely caught out with the Aston Martin, saving his battery. And Hyperghost with a DRS and full whack on the car. Almost whacked into the back of the Aston Martin there. And that could have been the 2 title challengers there, Logan, taking each other out of the race.
It could have been. I think that was more being out of battery than saving the batteries. He was under 10% at the end of that straight. Great start by Danique. Up in the P6 on the hard tires. And Gavukaput, even though he's stalled on the grid, he's already up in the P9 and close to the train ahead. And on the hard tires, so he's going to be fasterly in the race. There's still plenty of time to make up that ground for him. He's still looking good in this race, I must say. But the important thing is going to be keeping your nose clean, not in terms of damage, but in terms of penalties. As we already see 2 by Danique and Alfie, respectively. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty more to come early on in this race.
Absolutely.
As Dark Shadow and Sci-Fi are battling it out in the end of Sector 2.
There's very much
position for woe.
There's very much, though, 2 major battles going on here. One for the lead, and then one for this 4th place. Comatic is really under pressure, and they've got a car in the gravel there. That's, I think, Schaefer.
Danique side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danique gets through.
And also, I'm keeping an eye on the lead here because here comes Hyperghost once again. He's going to get very close to the Aston Martin. He's going to take the lead. Go right around the outside there, wheel to wheel here. The Ferrari has to check out and back out of that one. And almost he takes the lead off Hariberman, but he can't quite do it. And I tell you, Logan, the Aston Martin is seriously struggling. This Danique is now up into 4th.
Yeah, Danique goes around the outside of Codematic into turn 1. Great run down the front stretch by him, and he's able to get the position. Dark Shadow gets himself a time penalty. Schaefer looking to get the spot back on Codematic and on the hard tires. If he can get around medium runner, that's great for his race long term. Not going to be able to do it here, but Schaefer has more battery than any of these guys around him, with the exception of Ultimate Stan, who's coming right behind this train. He's going to look to get back up to that front running group after a mistake by him early on. But yeah, the top 3 are checking out, not just in the championship, but in this race as well. And to be honest, this is great for Michael Luis because he's on the hard tire. He's going to be even faster than these guys at the end. So the fact that he's able to stay in DRS currently, that's great for him. His Ultimate Stan picks up a penalty. Schaefer picks up a penalty. Sci-Fi, Dark Shadow, and Ronnie also picking up penalties. Everyone and their mother picking up penalties.
Well, here we go. Once again, look at the top 3. They're all going to be within DRS of each other, but it's obviously Haraman who will not have the DRS down the straight. Here comes Ibergos then once again with the DRS, and he will breeze ahead of Haraman there. Easy pass, you'd have to say.
So Schaefer.
And so too, there's moves in the background
crap.
there.
Look at this run by Schaefer. Danny was done on battery. He was a second and a half ahead of Schaefer, and Schaefer almost got him into turn 1. The battery makes more of a difference in this game than DRS and Slipstream combined. And they almost touched going into the second chicane. Codematic goes wide. Ultimate Stan's going to go through as well. Wow, what battling here in the midfield early on. Wow, unbelievable. They're able to keep it clean.
This is easily a 5-way scrap here for P4, and any of them could take it at the minute. We're only 5 laps into the race. We've already had so many battles and so many moments
Codematic gets loose.
And yeah,
I think he's struggling for tire temps.
And Javica P.
His rears are hot.
Has caught this pack very much so now. So too has Jay Oaks as well. He in the Ferrari there is right in the background. This is a 6-way scrap here for P4, but we've also got this 3-way scrap for the lead, because here is Haraman. Having a little look to the inside. It switches back to the outside. And you don't want to make the move there because you want to keep the DRS then for this main straight. But Hypercoach is really struggling here, and here's Michael Luis just behind as well. These 3 are all going to be nose to tail down this start-finish straight. There is the Sauber behind, there is the Ferrari, and there goes Harriman then back into the lead of this one. And the DRS once again, or is he? No, he's not. Hyperghost then, they've touched! They have touched! We were just waiting for that to happen. They both got away with it, and they both keep the positions. Hyperghost gives it up, though, in the end. I don't know if that was for a deliberate reason, or if he took the blame there, Logan, but that was just brewing there.
Yeah, and Schaefer got through on Danique for P4 as well. Danique out of battery. Both RBs looking much better on the battery than the other guys battling for this P4 train.
Jay Oaks in the gravel, no damage though, so we're all green again.
Yeah, all green again back there. Danique with a run on Schaefer. Nope, never mind. That was my eyes being stupid. But yeah, the top 3 still all nose to tail. Michael Luis looking the best on the battery. So we will see what happens. You'll take it away for us, as I'm going to keep an eye on the midfield battle here as the battle for P4 continues. Yeah,
let's see what is going to happen this time around. Haraman then, the car out front. Will Hyperghost, how's he going to play this? Because look at Michael Luis. He is all over the tail. He's clearly got the more grip, and he's clearly going to go for the move here because he is so close to that Ferrari. He senses the opportunity. He's got the ERS enabled and the DRS, but here comes Hyperghost on Haraman. Goes to the outside, but this time around there's no overtakes at the front. They all keep them the same position. And we'll have to go again in the next lap.
Yep, Kavukapo's now got around Codematic, so he's up into P7, and he's still got more battery as Alfie gets another penalty as he's in the running for the Darky Award here early on in this one. Kavukapo with the tire life and the battery to try to catch up to this train. And we actually have a move as Ultimate Stan takes advantage of Danique's mistake and is able to get back through for P5.
Yeah, so plenty of overtakes unfolding, although we've got a couple of gaps now with Javica P losing the DRS to Danique. Codematic as well falling behind. You wonder if his mediums are starting to struggle, which would explain the top 2 now coming under serious pressure from Michael Luis. But don't rule out Schaefer and Ultimate Stan here. They are only 3 seconds behind the top 3. If there's any more shenanigans with these drivers here, well, they're right there to pick up the pieces, that is for sure. Again, only on lap 7 here, still not anywhere near halfway through this race, and Haraberman again cannot break the DRS out front, and Hyperghost again is under serious pressure from Michael Lewis. But I just wonder if that Sauber has got the straight line speed here to get the move done when they both have the DRS down the straight. Here he comes once more. Is he going to go the move? Not quite. Very close. Oh, and gets the gravel, and he gets a penalty. Hyperghost now the first of the top 3 to pick up a penalty, Logan, and that could prove very costly.
Yeah, and Codematic has pit early off those mediums, so we'll see what strategy he's going with. Schaefer not really catching this group. Oh, actually is, just a little bit. If I'm Michael Luis, just play the patient game, bro. I mean, you have the advantage long term. You're on hards, they're on mediums. You're looking good. Dan doing a great job in this race, and so is Danique, even though they both got penalties. Great start for them. And Gavukapa is catching this group ahead of him. He's done a great job to recover early on in this race. Not even halfway in, he's already got himself back up in the P7 with 6th and 5th right in front of him, then his teammates in 4th.
Something to keep an eye on. A few more clouds appearing overhead, and it's not quite overcast just yet. But as Danique gets another penalty. But the rain.
Oh, Gavukapa's around! And then he reset the track! Bump, bump,
Deary me. How many times you see that one? That'll be a costly penalty. Oh my word, Haraman almost goes in the pits. I don't know if that was a mistake or if he tried to force the others in, but he's kept going on, but he's going to get picked off here because of that little mistake. Surely. He's going to have a little look. Not quite. Gets very close on the break-in. I think these medium runners are seriously struggling here, Logan, because they're hanging on till the rain. But I think those tyres are starting to get finished. We've already seen multiple cars come in the pits that started on those mediums. I think the top 2 are struggling here. Oh!
Yeah, I think the hards were definitely the way to go. What's happening up ahead? Danique with the mistake. He's off.
The wheel-to-wheel for the lead here. And Hyperghost can keep the position, but Harriman with a very ambitious dive up the inside there. A bit of a dive bomb, you'd have to say. And very nearly the pair of them making contact. They know each other very well. But I think the gloves are almost coming off here, Logan.
Yeah, it's all going to boil over sooner rather than later. And again, this is just playing into Michael Luis. He has more battery and the better tires long term being on those hards. So we're going to have to see what happens here in the long game. But like I said, I think this is all Michael Luis, even though he's the one sitting down in P3. Big mistake by Gavukapa. But he has found his way up into P6 after Danique made that mistake.
They're nose to tail. They're absolutely nose to tail. I mean, here they come. Haraman is surely going to take the lead here, but look at Michael Luis. He's closer than ever. Little touch onto the grass for Hyperghost. Haraman's going to hang it around the outside. He's going to go for it. They get oh so close, but what an overtake that is. Swooping right around the outside from the Aston Martin. He retakes the lead, and Michael Luis just had a little look to the inside there. Can't quite get the car alongside, but it just shows that... Oh, he's gone very wide, though. He's gone very wide, though, there, Hyperghost. And Michael Luis does pick him off now. And I tell you, Logan, if that is not an example of the tyres going off, well, there you have it. He just could not get the car turned in there. And it just shows, because Schaefer is now in DRS of Hyperghost.
Unbelievable. Schaefer's got his way back into this one with the leaders fighting. Also, Sci-Fi picked up P8 over Jay Oaks going into turn 1 down the front stretch. So he's found his way up into P8 as well. Oaks struggling on those medium tires. Sci-Fi taking advantage of the long game with those hard tires. And yeah, we're going to have ourselves... As Ultimate Stan is getting close to DRS. They're making a 5-way fight for the lead. My heart can't take it.
They're in huge trouble, Logan. They're in absolutely huge trouble. That is still blue sky. This rain is not close enough yet for these medium runners, but those tyres are cooked. Hyperghost is going to get picked off down the straight, and so too is Haraman here for the lead if he's not careful, because Michael Luis has got the DRS, and he's gaining and gaining on the leader here, and he's going to take the lead. Would you believe it? Look at that, as easy as you like. Michael Luis then moves into the lead of this race, and Haraman and Hyperghost are in serious trouble.
Schaefer with a little mistake there in the first chicane. Hyperghost definitely runs a lot less downforce than the other cars around him. So he did still just have DRS on P2, so he was able to defend from Schaefer. But Schaefer's right there. He's going to take advantage of these guys struggling on mediums. Oldman Stan has dropped back a little bit, and I didn't see any position changes behind, as Alfie and Danique are now very
Yeah.
close on track.
Well, I'll just say that
Actually, wow, there was a big train there. They're all so close together there. That three-way fight for P7.
Well, I'll say...
Sci-fi Mage with the dive on Alfie! Oh, they touch! Alfie's missing a left end plate as well.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was glad I caught it, because Alfie actually swooped past... double overtake, although, because he swooped past the pair of them down the start-finish straight. I don't know if it's because of the damage he's got in the car, a bit less downforce, but that Haas has got some serious straight line speed because he picked off the pair of them, moving up into 8th. Back to the front, though. Harriman has got DRS, but Schaefer is all over the tail of Hyperghost, but Hyperghost has still got DRS. He's still clinging on here to the Aston Martin, but Schaefer's going to the outside. Is he going to get brave on the brakes? Can't find a way through there. He might have a switchback though. Goes to the other side again. Back to the inside line. This could be a great move if he can hang it on now, because he just swooped that round twice there and they make contact, and he's got it done. Brilliant racing. He set that up, Logan, like you wouldn't believe. That took about 3 goes there of switchbacks.
Alfie gets Sci-Fi back as well, so he's able to get back into P8. And they're going to look to hunt down Danique, who has a few penalties, but everyone behind him has penalties as well, so that doesn't really help them.
Yeah, absolute chaos. I tell you,
look at this battle, 3-way battle for P12.
Yeah. For last place.
P13.
Get
it, boys! Let's go! All positions matter. Top 15 score TFR, baby. Look at this race, and this is fantastic stuff. Oh, Dark Shadow's loose on the exit. Tax Collector gets through. Raheem holds on to P13.
Who would think Imola would provide this amount of overtakes? But it is absolutely delivering. And we've got a caution in
Sector 1. It was Raheem goes off on the second chicane.
So they all continue on here. No one's coming in the pits just yet. Oh, I say that. Scratch that. Hyperghost is in the pits. And he's got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. This is an absolute disaster for the Ferrari driver. His championship here is surely going to take a big old hit because he's gone on the hard tyres. With rain looming, he must have had a puncture risk, surely, Logan, because he was struggling like crazy. And now with an extra penalty on top and the long old pit stop that it is here, he is in serious bother now.
To pace. Speeding in the pit lane penalties have ruined F2 championship title hopes for many. Did we just see it happen for Hyperghost as well? Probably doesn't ruin the whole season, but it definitely doesn't help. I'm stating the obvious there, I know. Hyperman doing a great job of sticking into DRS, and Mike Luis, though. And Schaefer hanging on as well. Great race by Schaefer. And Gavukaput, he's recovered all the way to P5.
Well, this is the thing, and to put this into some perspective, just to show the pace drop-off that those front runners were having, Codematic, who pitted 5 laps ago for hard tyres, is only 2 seconds off Hyperghost, who's just pitted there. Just because of the pure undercut, and with no disrespect to Codematic, he has no way showed the same pace as the top runners in this race. So this is still on a knife edge here. And the other element to this, Logan, is what if it doesn't rain enough? If it doesn't rain enough for intermediates, all of these guys at the front are going to have to pit.
Yeah, they are. It's just this race is not over strategically or driving-wise by any stretch of the imagination. And Schaefer looking really good. Herberman, 13-lap mediums. They've got to be screaming for a pit stop.
Absolutely. I mean, he and Jay Oakes are on the oldest set of mediums now. You can see running on board with him here, that front right looks pretty ugly. He is struggling, and he's actually dropped over a second now. He's doing a remarkable job, really, to hang this on here. But he's got back within DRS again. But you would imagine, surely now, that those tyres, they are right on the brink, Logan.
Yeah, they're on the brink. I think they go about 14 laps. So he's going to have to pit this lap or next lap, I assume. But I don't know what his type of tire life is like with how he drives or what assist he has.
Elsewhere, no matter what happens with Hyperghost now, he is surely going to suffer a huge loss in the championship because 16 seconds worth of penalties now, getting another corner cutting penalty there. And, well, no matter what happens, he's surely going to tumble down the order, whether we get rain or not here. So it's really looking unfortunate for him. Harberman there does still have the DRS, but Schaefer is getting ever closer down that start-finish straight. Not quite close enough this time. And that's another lap that's ticked by, Logan, where there's no rain yet. So,
And no pit stops.
yeah, we're getting close here, you know. And to be honest, it's not like when the rain hits, the track's going to be soaking wet within a lap. It might take a couple laps for the track to actually get to the point worthy of intermediates. So they're losing a lot of time, and I tell you, the likes of Comatic, we need to keep an eye on him. Later on in this race, got no penalties at the minute, and he, like I say, is only about 5 seconds behind Hyperghost on the track at the minute. Compared to the leaders, when they make a stop, he's only 30 seconds off. And look at that, Schaefer right around the outside, picks off Harriman there before the chicane, and I have to say, Logan, that just shows how much the Aston Martin was struggling, and we have rain on the circuit now.
Rain on the circuit now. Oh, this is terrible for Harriman. And Gavukaput doesn't have any penalties in P5, so he's looking good as well. What are they going to do?
Can he hang on?
He's going to pit or Schaefer. Harriman, oh my goodness. Those tires. Oh, I can't even watch.
This is huge moments right here in terms of the championship. Like I say, 3 rounds to go after this. Javier Capiz's in the pit lane, so he's going for the gamble of intermediates earlier on. Maybe it might rain quite hard here in the closing stages, and the track will change quite quickly. Well, there's another car in the pits. That's a Mercedes in the pit lane. Hypergo stays out, so Javier Capiz has took the gamble early on here. I think that might be early, but those two then getting on those intermediates early on. They're the only two, though, that have pitted, and it just shows how long of a pit lane this is. Comatic then moves ahead then up into 6th place ahead of those that have pitted, and by a long way, I'll say, Logan. He's got a big old margin ahead of those drivers.
Yes, he does, and it's definitely too early for hard runners to try to pit.
I
would understand a medium runner, but a hard runner? Not sure. As Ultimate Stan makes a mistake through the double right-hander. Alfie with another penalty as he looks to challenge Hyper goes for the Darky Award of the day.
Yeah.
A lot of cars behind her pitting.
They are.
A lot of cars behind her pitting.
So,
are they just following the leader, or is their engineer telling them something here?
They are struggling, these front runners, and I think Michael Luis is coming in.
Michael Luis is in.
So too Schaefer.
Will they speed?
Harriman.
Michael Luis plays it very safe. Schaefer, ooh, great entry by him. Harriman in.
You have to say that's just about got away with it, Harriman there. I mean, he's hung on incredibly well on those old mediums, and to be honest, if it was any more laps, you'd wonder if the tyres would actually puncture.
I'm surprised he even made it that far, to be honest.
Absolutely. So the DRS hasn't been disabled yet. That's my only thing here of how wet is this going to get. There's obviously still a few laps to go. So, and Comatic is in the pit, so it is very much now everybody committing to that strategy. So it clearly shows, Logan. Oh, as Michael Luis gets just a little bit onto the grass there. And it just shows that that double pit stop for some of the drivers has not paid off for them.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't paid off. Strategy call errors are being made, and also speeding in the pit lane, just absolutely nuking Hyper Ghost race here.
Totally. Well, not long to go. Schaefer is the only of the top 3 that has a penalty. So he really has got a mountain to climb if he wants to win this race. It is only 3 seconds, so if he can get past Michael Luis very quickly here, then he could maybe still pull something out of the bag.
Almost loses it. He saves it, though. He's struggling on the inters.
I wonder if a lot of drivers here have got dry setups on the car and they're just struggling with this transition, because there is a lot of them that are just really struggling to get the car slowed down. And I tell you, Michael Luis is really struggling because the gap is under half a second.
Jay Oaks with another penalty. Schaefer using all the battery, though, so Michael Luis is going to have plenty more battery. He's not going to be able to overtake Michael Luis, even with DRS.
And he has got DRS, Ultimate Stan's disconnected. We hope we can get him back in. He has got DRS on that RB, so the track's not wet enough, clearly, because they would have disabled that by now.
Yeah, but I do think there is a crossover where inners are still the tire, but DRS is enabled. But I do think they just pitted early. I mean, that's just what it seems like from here in the booth. Codematic getting close to Hyper Ghost as well on track, let alone the 16 seconds of penalties he's got. And Hyper Ghost, that extra pit stop is 13 seconds behind.
Oh, mistake there from Schaefer. A bit of wheel spin coming out the corner, and Harbourman now is up into second place. Wow, a costly error there from Schaefer. I know he's got that penalty, but Harbourman now, that has given him a lifeline, Logan, to win this race.
Yes, it has, and well, Harbourman could still win this thing. Unbelievable.
Incredible.
After surviving on the mediums, making a couple mistakes on those dying tires, but on the inters, it's just all coming together for him at the moment. Alfie gets another penalty. Can you believe it? I can. Let's see what happens down the front stretch, CJ.
He's close. He's very, very close here. Michael Lewis has not got the pace in these conditions.
Wide.
We've seen this before earlier in the season. Here he comes then. This could be the moment. We've not got long to go. DRS is not open. It's not open. Ultimate Stand is still not back in the session. He's now dropped to 5th. JVKP up into 4th. So, Harbourman now is going to have to do this the hard way, Logan.
He's going to have to do it the hard way. He's going to have to hope for a mistake or to save up the battery because Michael Lewis is sitting on a lot more battery than him. And Schaefer back in within a second, but a little bit of mistake there on the exit of the second chicane, and that 3-second time penalty is going to kill his race. Gavukaput back up into P4 from dead last. And no penalties.
Incredible recovery considering the start of the race that he had. And at the minute, going on for a really good result. Harbourman struggling to get the car slowed down there, coming down the hill. Michael Luis as well, really struggling here. Harbourman again, so close. Going for the chicane, almost hits the Sauber there.
Oh yeah, very late on the brakes there. That was a butt-clenching moment for him, definitely. And further back, this is the only close battle. This is the only battle within a second, and it's for the lead.
It's all eyes on this. All eyes on this, yeah. Danique then with a penalty. He may still get 5th, though, with Ultimate Stand disconnected. He's saying about an invite. I've already invited you. We're going to have to keep an eye, though, on this scrap here, because here comes Harbourman. Again, gaining and gaining on the Sauber, but with no DRS, Logan, it's going to be very, very difficult.
No DRS and no ERS. Actually, they both burned their ERS on that straight. Michael Luis with not a great first chicane. So Harbourman's going to be able to get a little closer. Oh, he goes wide. He gets a penalty.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. What a mistake
Bob
to make.
Saget. Well, this was a fun race while it lasted, CJ.
Oh, he sent it on the inside. Oh, my word. Don't take each other out, for crying out loud. I mean, that's frustration if you've ever seen it. But, I mean, that's the only way he can win this one now, is if he can get ahead of the Sauber and somehow pull a gap in these remaining laps. But as they come down to Aqua Minerale here, it is looking very bleak for Harbourman now in terms of winning this race. Gets a good exit, though.
He's going to send this.
He's thinking about it. As the track gets worse and worse here, Michael Lewis is struggling even more. He gets a terrible exit there. And I tell you, if Harbourman is feeling bold here, he can have another chuck at the inside here. I think Michael Lewis has got a bit more distance to the Aston Martin. But, he's got a bit wide again, though.
Another mistake. How's the exit through this final corner? Harbourman's been messing this one up. They both get good exits. And I think Michael Lewis runs a little bit less wing. I think he runs just a little bit less wing on the straight.
Well, he's going to gain on the Sauber. This is the chance. This is the moment for Harbourman if he wants any opportunity of winning this race. He's going to have to absolutely send it down the inside. No, doesn't do it. And Michael Lewis might just be safe here on the penultimate lap. With the penalty at play, Harbourman with a bit of a frustrated exit there, sliding the car out of the corner. That might be it, Logan. He really needed a good couple of laps to maybe try and get the gap. But now the only way he's going to win this one is if he can force Michael Lewis into a mistake.
Yeah, he's going to have to force him into a mistake. And speaking of this championship battle, look how Hyper goes P7 and with yes amount of penalties. We got a caution in Sector 1.
Dark Shadow.
That's just a lap car getting out of the way.
So, Michael Lewis then, this is going to be a fantastic result if he can still hang on again. Gets a terrible exit coming up the hill there. He really seems to struggle at that point of the circuit, but he is just doing what he needs to do. And at the minute, he is marching towards another win this season, unless Harbourman can try something seriously orthodox on this last lap, Logan.
Yeah, but Michael Lewis is going to get a slightly better exit. But Haberman straight up his chuff. Final lap, CJ, what's going to happen here?
Well, here he comes. He is gaining
Schaefer's
on
only
the
2
salvo.
seconds behind. So if they battle too much, Schaefer could come into play. Not going to be able to get him here. Brakes late. Can he open up the corner and get a better exit? I think he's going to be able to, CJ. Here we go.
He's going to be alongside him. Oh, dear.
Or not.
Has a little think about it. No, not close enough. Again, he just cannot get alongside. Dips it in the gravel as well. Again, super frustrated from Hariberman there. We've got a yellow flag at the final bit of the lap. That's nothing too important because at the minute, Michael Luis looks like he's going to pick up a 3rd win of the season. Ultimate Stan has crashed or retired in the points there. He is going to tumble right down the order. So something's gone on there on the last lap here. He has crashed.
The exit of turn 1. Put it into the wall on the inside.
I think another moment for Danique, a little yellow flag there, but still, Michael Luis then on track is still leading this. Despite not necessarily having the pace in these conditions, he has drove brilliantly, holding off Harriman here. He wasn't leading for loads of this race in the early stages, but as he rounds the final corner here, he is going to pick up a vital victory in this championship. Michael Luis then wins for the 3rd time this season. What a drive. And that...
what a race.
Could be crucial in the championship.
Let's watch the position changes, though, with the penalties. Whoa. Hyper Ghost up to 5th. What has happened here in the last lap? Danique with two penalties.
He's got a puncher, I think. Or he's run out of fuel. Danique has run out of fuel. So that is going to be maybe a couple of points back in favour of Hyperghost, but he's ran out of fuel on the last lap. Obviously, no safety cars here. Here is Hyperghost. We know he's got a big load of penalties here. Hits the line. Look at that. The gap going up there. So Komanek into 5th. Ronnie will then move into... No, he doesn't. He doesn't move ahead. Danique crawling across the line will stay 8th. So Hyperghost, you'd have to say, despite all those penalties and the shenanigans that went on there, 6th place, damage limitations, probably just keeps him in this, Logan.
Oaks jumps Alfie and Danique. Alfie jumped Danique. Oaks jumped both of them. I
think someone else there jumped up at the end. An Alpine or someone jumped a bunch of places as well.
The one Alpine at the back, he didn't have any penalties. So he was able to jump his teammate and a couple other cars, I believe.
Well. What?
Results here, and look at that.
What a race that was.
Sci-Fi moved up to 11 after the... No, Tax Collector all the way up to 8!
Yeah, Tax Collector was
13th.
The one...
No, he was 12th.
Wow. So my master's saying, holy fumble. And he choked, referring to Hyperghost then at the end of the race there. Would you say he choked? I think that's maybe quite harsh, Logan, to say that was a bit of a bottle from Hyperghost.
I mean, 16 seconds of penalties. Yeah. 16 seconds of penalties and had to make an extra pit stop. What is that? At least 36 seconds?
Wow.
That would be the difference between him being at least 3rd.
Well, there are your final results then on the screen. Michael Luis, like I said, a vital victory. He was always in the mix with a front 3 there all the way through the race, but he just made it count. That is why he is leading the championship as it stands with 3 rounds to go. And, well, that is some vital points picked up, but it's also Hyperghost, the big loser there. He got the fastest lap as well, actually, so that's an extra point just to, hopefully for his case, keep that gap low down. Another great day for RB, 3rd and 4th. They are really going to be looking good in the Constructors once more. And, well, you'd have to say a dramatic race there. I'd go as far as say, Logan, that was one of the best races of the season. That was brilliant right from the start all the way to the finish.
Another fantastic race. We are back from the summer break. Shout out to Danique for winning today's Darky Award with 29 seconds of penalties. Man, what an entertaining one. Top of the grid to the bottom. Lots of stuff happening. Shout outs to Tax Collector jumping up to 8th there at the end of that race. What an absolute banger it was.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And it's good to be back. So, 3 races to go then. What we thinking, Logan? Where is the championship pointing to now?
It's
Hyperghost, very
obviously
much
pointing
the...
towards Michael Luis.
It is
He
pointing
makes
towards him,
less
but
mistakes.
what's your prediction with the way it's looking now?
Michael Luis, he just makes less mistakes and he makes smarter strategic decisions.
Interesting, interesting. Do you think Hyperghost can claw himself back into this now, or is that a bit too much of a difficult gap to close?
It's still very doable. One race is all it takes. One race is all it takes.
Absolutely. And next up, we have the Singapore Grand Prix. Now, for those that are long-time watchers or racers within TFR eSports, they will know that that is a race that is in TFR folklore of being an absolute banger every single time. So you'll need to tune in for that, viewers, because that almost every single time guarantees an action-packed race, and we have seen many championships decided or have major consequences in the battles at the top from that race. So you'll need to tune in for that. Next week, we've then got Japan and then the final round of the season in Brazil. It's going to be a fascinating end to the season, and we will be here for those final races to cover it. Thank you, Logan, for joining me in the commentary box tonight. And we'll be back next week for the Singapore Grand Prix. 3 races to go. Michael Luis picks up his 3rd win of the season, and we'll find out what happens next. We'll see you then. There we go.